What up? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me at all? Still can't hear me?
Well, I'm back, but I don't know if anybody can hear me. I think I might still be having issues. It says it's working, but I don't believe it. Oh boy. Uh, hmm. All right, so apparently people can hear me. Can I add everybody else?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Holy shit. Touchdown. What the fuck? Major issues
Yeah.
tonight.
Holy crap.
My fucking computer's cleaning itself or something. I don't fucking know. And it's still at 0% complete. It's been 0% complete now for 45, 50 minutes.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, mine. I don't
Yep.
even know what happened with mine. I don't even want to try to attempt to get into it at this point. It's just annoying me.
Yeah, it's bullshit. Well, how are you, man?
Pretty good. I'm pretty good. I don't know what kind of, I was trying to figure out if we were going to do music, what to kind of start off with. And I wanted to run something by you because I wanted to see how you felt about a particular, how do you feel about Edge's new theme?
I like it.
I'm still on the, I like,
I
the
mean,
old
it's right. Well, it's hard because everyone loves the old one, but it's not bad. I can get used to it. I was actually prepared to open with Asuka because she was like the big surprise return, but
Oh, hell yeah.
but
Well, she was a surprise. There were a couple of returns last night.
Mustafa Ali, which was kind of awkward.
Yeah, that's weird. Only because he made such a big deal about wanting to be released. The only thing I can think is that they gave him something that was worthwhile. The last time, or the reason that he walked off and refused to come to work, was because they turned him heel with a stereotypical kind of Middle Eastern "you people" gimmick, like blaming the United States, USA bad kind of. It was just it's the kind of cheap stereotype thing that he was fighting against.
Yeah, well, it's the easy way. You know what I mean?
Want to bring those guys on?
I can't do it from my
Oh,
end.
you can't do it.
I have no control, my friend. You have it
All
all.
right. Well, I got it right here. So
Hey,
everybody on now.
What's up,
Hey,
guys?
yo.
people hear me?
Yeah, we're having major fucking issues tonight.
Talk about it. All right, I'll
How
throw
you
it
guys
over,
doing?
the same question for
Major
Steve.
fucking
What
issue.
does everybody think of the new Edge theme song?
That's for you two.
Oh yeah, I'm down with it. Like I said, I agree with Steve earlier, man. It's tough because the other Edge song, obviously, it's near and dear in our hearts. It's the one that we learned to love. But again, with the gimmick change, everything that's going on with Edge and all of it, with Damian Priest, it works. So I'm a fan. What do you think,
It's
Eric?
cool. It's cool. Got no complaints.
And I like what they're doing with Priest. I think Priest was the right choice.
Apparently, from the scuttlebutt I'm hearing online is that Ali might be next to join that group,
Okay.
but I don't know.
I think Balor should.
Well, I know. I think that's the next feud, but I don't know if it's going to be one of those things where he feuds with him and then joins forces with him. That's kind of that's a wrestling trope that happens an awful lot.
The
So
next
there's talks that
person-
this is actually going to be a faction, or I just thought it was just going to be him and Priest.
Well, it seems like they're bringing in Rhea Ripley as well. So it
I
seems
was
like
going to say the next person that's going to be a member is going to be Rhea Ripley. I'm pretty confident about that.
All right, so they're definitely going on with this, a whole full-on faction. All right, cool.
Oh yeah. Now
Yeah,
I mean they got a
it's
name
gonna
now
be-
and everything.
Yeah, it's going to be like an homage to the Brood and the Ministry. It's going to be the gist.
Little Brood 2.0. You know what I'm saying?
There's been rumors that Gangrel's going to have some kind of not affiliation, but some kind of mention.
That would be cool. They don't use him enough, and I know it's kind of weird because the guy legitimately I think just has a southern accent, and you expect a vampire guy to kind of, I don't know, not have the accent that he has, so it kind of throws off the vampire deal. But other than that, I mean, the look is great, and doesn't matter how old a guy like Gangrel gets, because you're not going to have him out there wrestling. He can still go out there with a cup of blood or whatever, or red viscous liquid that they call it now. You can still use those guys. So it'd be great if I know they can't use Christian anymore, but they can definitely still use Gangrel if they so choose to.
The accent thing reminds me of like Kevin Sullivan because he had that deep Boston accent with this devil worship gimmick.
Yeah. Oh,
It's just weird.
especially because he was in Florida, like championship wrestling from Florida a lot in those territories. So like it must have been super weird for them down on the Florida Panhandle to hear this guy's thick ass Boston accent. It's ridiculous. It's almost I live in Connecticut and I can't barely understand the guy. So
Oh, by the way, totally off topic, but I have a rant.
all right.
Yay.
A little pissed off. So
That's what I live for.
was the debut of the first DLC pack that you could download for WWE 2K22, the Bonsai pack,
Yeah.
where you get Yokozuna, Rikishi, a whole list of like 5 people or whatever, right? I finally get it to work. Download, and you know what happens?
What happened?
It reset my entire fucking game.
Oh
I
no.
lost
Not having
everything.
right now.
I lost everything.
All of
Everything
your
that was
technology is
created,
fucked up, man.
what the hell?
everything is gone. I have to start it all over.
No.
Yeah.
Just like all your games.
No, just WWE.
So you lost
Oh,
all
that
your
still sucks,
created
Every-
content?
Everything, bro.
Oh,
Everything.
Wow. I just downloaded that right now. I hope I didn't lose it, but I'll check back.
I don't
didn't
know
get
why
to
the
really mess
fuck
around
I-
with it.
I don't know why the fuck I did, but man,
Well.
I am not happy.
I didn't go too crazy in actually creating anything besides just my one character. So I didn't really go too hard on the creation department. I downloaded more than anything from the community creations. But that's it.
And those are the best. Like I remember back when I was playing the WWE games. As I said, the last one that came out, I did not buy in protest because I was done. But I think the last one I bought was 2K19. That was the one that came with the Ric Flair Funko Pop. If you bought the deluxe edition, I think. But anyway,
Yeah, I remember that one. Yep.
that one had a great community. Like the community creations had like old wrestlers. Like
Yeah, this one is just on par, man.
Early AEW, and like
Yep.
I know now it's probably even better, but I just remember
Yes.
2K19 being like
some of them are just incredible.
Oh yeah, like it's some of the creations they have right now are just wild. I saw the packages from the 80s and 90s, everything from the Mountie to
Mountie.
the Killer Bees. They had so many people just downloaded on this thing. I was just like, this is wild. So I keep on sending pictures to Steve on a separate chat, and Steve was just like, "Oh, I gotta get to this." I downloaded the Cody that they have. Looks like crazy, like WrestleMania attire, everything from the jacket and everything he had on, just like everything that they have is it's crazy that you can do. These guys just go sick. I told Steve, I don't know, man. These guys spend a lot of times, and they do a lot of work. I don't know if they even have a job or is this their main job. It's just wild to me.
Yeah,
I remember I followed the directions for that like long before I was able to download them like that. I did 2009 when The Wrestler came out, so I made Randy the Ram Robinson for the game, and I had a kick-ass entrance for him and everything. Oh man, it was awesome.
Some of the
Then
attention to detail is unbelievable right now.
I lost patience for it though. Like, and do people still make Chris Benoit and stuff like that?
Oh yeah,
they're still up there. Yeah, they're still there.
I thought they don't have a filter like banning the word Benoit.
no, I don't think they can. To be honest with you.
That's weird. I was trying to figure out. There's I was reading online the other day, and maybe you guys can help me out. There was somebody who was recently released from WWE that was supposed to be in the Bonsai pack, and then got replaced with Casey Catanzaro because Casey was the one that was a character that they had ready for other DLC. I'm trying to think if it was that guy Jonah, the big guy, Jonah Rock.
Oh, you're talking about Bronson Reed?
Bronson Reed. I don't know if it was supposed to be him because the Bonsai Pack is all big people, and because, like, if you look at the roster of the DLC, Casey Catanzaro sticks out.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%. It's like one thing is not like the other here.
Although apparently now,
yeah.
Did you guys heard? I mean, it's common now. Casey Catanzaro's name is now Katana Sanchez or some bullshit.
It's
they
changed.
strike again.
I think they said Katana Combat or something. Does that make sense? No, I don't know. Or maybe
Nothing
he's right.
makes
No,
sense.
maybe you're right. Or
Doesn't
Chase.
make
Or
sense.
Katana
They
Chase.
they changed her and somebody else, another another chick, and I forgot who it was.
Bailey Ray is now Alba Fire.
Right, what the fuck is that?
Tommaso
Austin
Ciampa.
Theory is now just Theory.
Right.
Just
Ciampa,
Theory. Yeah.
Tommaso
Wow.
Ciampa's now just Ciampa after last night, by the way.
Oh, is it really just Ciampa?
That's it.
Well, at least he's gonna be a heel.
Yes. Yeah. That's probably the best spot for
The
him.
one bright side.
Right, like someone like him would make sense for Edge's faction too.
Nah, I think you keep him solo.
Oh, Ciampa?
Yeah.
You could.
I just think he's a badass on his own.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely do. I just don't have faith in them pushing him or doing anything.
Oh, yeah, you can't have faith in anything they've been doing lately. But let's see. I will tell you guys what. For all the wrong and all the stuff that they have been doing, you go back to seeing how Cody was actually reacted and everything that was going on in AEW and see the different everything, the way they're portraying him right now, it's just wild to me. Like, these fans are definitely eating it up. And I don't know, obviously completely different fan base possibly. You know, sometimes you could say that, you know, you have your hardcore WWE fans and your hardcore AEW fans, but the way
even in October, like
Yeah.
October shouldn't have been like when Cody was getting booed. I was in Boston like late October. You know, it was the one right before Halloween, and the whole building was booing the guy. And at the time, I was like, "Why are we all booing Cody, guys? Like, he's supposed to be the babyface." And now it's the same. I say it's the same jacket. It's the same. Like, nothing's really changed.
The only thing that I could think of is you lost all the shit. Like, he's not coming out with the whole Nightmare family. He's not coming out with all the people he was training. You know what I mean? He's not coming out with his lady. He's not coming out with his dog. He's not coming out with Arn. There's all of that. It's him. It's Cody in the limelight, enjoying it, and just like it's just him doing his thing.
Right.
And like I said, I mean,
he just could have done that. Like, it's just, this is also weird to me. He could have just said,
it is. It's 100%. Yeah.
So maybe
I feel like that's the difference between a Tony Khan and a Vince McMahon. Tony Khan's probably just like, yeah, man, have at it. Like, let's have fun. And Vince is like, you're not bringing your fucking dog out there, bro.
Right. Well, I think, you know, there was a middle ground there between the expectation was Cody signed on as an EVP, so he could kind of have that leeway to do what he wanted and always wanted to create. But it's kind of seems like now that we know after a few years, Cody's one of those guys that does have good ideas, let's say, but needs an editor.
100%.
Let's put it that way. Everybody said that about Vince Russo as well. They're like, never put Vince Russo in charge because he can't complete that mission. But if he was able, you know, if he's one of a group and is pitching ideas or comes up with something, then someone else can kind of steer it where it needs to go. Because that was always kind of the complaint about the Cody thing, was that it was Cody with the tattoo and the pyro and the elevator in the middle that nobody else uses and the live band and the dog.
Oh, yeah.
And Arn and his wife and his, you know.
The dude does still have. That dude still has half their fucking pyro budget in WWE. Like, he has, like, I think pyro goes off, if I'm correct, at least 3 times in his entrance. That's almost tribal chief status.
WWE was like, we're going to do some budget cuts. We're getting rid of pyro for, like, Raw. Like, they would only do pyro on big events. And then I think they just made some more. Like they were down for a few years. They're like, we don't need this pyro stuff right now. And now they're like,
Oh yeah.
Hey, we just got this streaming deal. We got the Saudi deal. We can fire off some fucking fireworks if we want.
Oh yeah, for real.
It is. It's amazing, Eddie. It would be. I guess the only thing I can equate it to is like, I don't know. Like, Roger Clemens was cheered when he was a Red Sox and cheered when he was a Yankee. It's not like they booed him in one city and cheered him in another. It's not really like A-Rod because the Yankee fans cheered him when he came in. I can't think of another athlete in pro sports or really in pro wrestling that just wholesale took something that wasn't working, 100% wasn't working, moved to a different network and did the same thing.
Yep.
And it's working. It's blowing my mind.
It's insanity, bro. Like they're loving this dude. Like it's
I'm
just
waiting
wild,
for the wheels
bro.
to fall off. I'm like, I know it's not coming soon, but I'm like, I feel like this is gonna be one of those things where like, when does the shoe drop?
Yeah. Yep. Well,
You need
only
Conan
time
for
will
that.
tell. I'll give it a couple months, maybe like 2 more months. We'll see.
I know what made Steve happy probably is Cody and Randy sharing the ring, sharing a moment.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So Raw kicks off with the celebration of Randy Orton, 20 years in the business. I want to make sure that we take the time to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
I mean, you really, we talk about all the time, the Mount Rushmore, the top 5, maybe 6 guys. And I feel like a lot of the times we don't give Randy enough credit because he's in the top 5 of best ever in the business in WWE. And talk about a guy who's going to start and finish his career in one place, accomplish everything that he has. I don't know, man. And this whole RK Bro thing is a home run. So I'm glad that they took the time to do the celebration, and then everything leading up to the setup to the main event was well done. The best thing they ever did to Elias was make him.
Oh no, Steve, what happened?
Oh,
Somebody call Liam Neeson. He's been taken.
does anyone have a specific set of skills?
No. I'm pretty decent in the kitchen. I'm not bad.
But throw it down. What are you making tonight?
Tonight, actually, real simple. After the podcast, I'm gonna make some double cheese burgers. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nothing
Can
wrong
you
with
guys
that.
not hear me?
There you
cut out
go.
the
He's
whole
back.
discussion
Thank
about
you,
What
Liam
the
Nielsen.
fuck, man? I hate this shit. I really
As,
do.
as soon as we
Anyway.
heard the name Elias, we lost you.
Yeah, you were talking
Oh.
about you like what they're doing with
fucking
Elias's
great.
younger brother Ezekiel.
It's great. It is absolutely great because Kevin Owens is selling the fuck out of it, and it's just amazing to watch. Like, Kevin Owens is hilarious.
the best. He's hilarious, bro. Everything he
He's
does.
so good,
I mean,
and he's
he's
so
so
selling
good,
the
bro.
shit out of it.
Yeah, this is like it reminds me of an episode of like the Brady Bunch or something, or like a cartoon where everybody knows, or like for you old school wrestling fans, Charlie Brown from Out of Town or the Midnight Rider. So Charlie Brown from Out of Town was Boogie Woogie Man. Midnight Rider was, spoiler alert, everybody, for 40-year-old wrestling, 50-year-old wrestling at this point. Charlie Brown from Out of Town was Boogie Woogie. Midnight Rider was Dusty Rhodes. They would lose a loser leaves town match, but then next week a brand new wrestler would come out in a mask. And of course, Boogie Woogie had a 3-foot-long beard like ZZ Top, so he'd just wear a mask when his beard was sticking out, and everybody knew it was him, but they pretended not to know because he wore a mask. And then they do the same thing with the Midnight Rider with Dusty, because there's nobody else that is built and moves and talks like Dusty Rhodes. So regardless of whether he's wearing a mask or not, it's him. Kind of like the Super Strong Machines. It was one of those gimmicks where, we all know what's going on, but we're just kind of,
Andre, yeah. And that bugged the shit out of Heenan. So it's very similar to that.
Right, exactly. So like this is
Kevin
an
Owens is
old
doing,
school kind of thing.
I feel like if it wasn't for Kevin Owens selling of this and that kind of reaction in general, this thing wouldn't work.
No, it also wouldn't work if they were just going to go forward with this guy is just Ezekiel now. That doesn't work. You know what I mean? They couldn't just say Elias died and Ezekiel's this brand new guy. Here he is. Like that.
Right. Maybe in
Would work.
Lucha Underground they could do that, but not WWE.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. This is a
No,
little more.
I agree with you 1000%, Vince. You
Because
just
people's
can't do that. You
characters fucking
can't.
died in that
No.
thing.
Yeah, no, it's a little more
No.
plausible that this is just somebody faking their own death to fuck with somebody else. You know, this is like Guiding Light or Young and the Restless, some kind of soap opera thing.
Yep.
You know, they fake.
I still think that they should somehow, some way, have him put a big ass beard on and actually come out one day as Elias, like just to like fuck around with like Kevin Owens a bit more, and they're like, dude, because they could do it. They got the butt. They could do all this. They're smart for that shit. They could do that, and then on the Titantron, you see Ezekiel like, you know, cutting a promo on, you know, like, hey, that's my brother right there in the ring with the guitar, you know, whatever the fuck. Like, I think that would like Kevin Owens would lose his shit.
Their Twitter account posted pictures.
Watch them add
Photoshop.
a third brother.
Oh, that. What if the real ending to this feud is that it's triplets? The third one. And it's just him with a shaved head. Like, they
Oh
just
my
have to
God.
go the other way. No hair.
We can go with, and we could end up with like a psycho Kevin Owens, kind of like how Chavo used to bother the shit out of Eddie in WCW.
Until he got driven insane. Yeah. Kevin Owens is getting driven insane. That's what this is. That's what's happening. And like, he's just going to lose his mind. And I'm here for it.
It's amazing.
And it's him. He's holding it together. I think I said it last week that they did the lie detector test. The right choice was getting Chad Gable involved, because you could just hire a person in a suit and be like, that's the guy running, and he doesn't say anything. It's an extra. He's the guy running the lie detector. But to have the addition of Chad Gable, like, in my mind, if they did this 30 years ago, the Genius would be running
Yeah.
polygraph machine, you know? And so it's the similar kind of thing. So yeah, Kevin Owens really is holding it together. Everybody else is holding up their end of the bargain, but Kevin Owens is like, he's great. If he wasn't fat, he'd be world champion. Like, I hate to break it to him. It's the only thing holding him back. We mentioned it earlier. We had some not debuts. What do we call
Return.
Returns. I was gonna say re-debut is a little chunky to say. It's too clunky. Yeah, we got a couple returns. We had Ali. We got Asuka. Obviously, star power wise, Asuka is the bigger name. I think the bigger surprise is Ali returning, because I didn't think he would. It must be, like I said earlier in the show, something he's interested in, or else he wouldn't do it. But Asuka is a strange one, because she was injured and she had to take time off. But then the reports were Asuka is healthy, but they don't have anything for her. They don't have anything for somebody who had broke Goldberg's undefeated streak.
How do you
champion
not have
at
anything for
WrestleMania,
fucking
you know what I
Asuka?
mean? Like, what are we talking about here? What was that, Eric?
I don't understand how they don't have anything for Asuka.
No, at least they do now. But it's just weird.
Finally. Feud with Becky is pretty good, though.
I mean, if you're going to come back, that's the feud to have. Ooh, I stopped the sneeze there. So, again, the speculation online from people, or the hope I'm seeing online, is that Becky loses this feud to kind of send her down kind of a losing streak, downward spiral storyline, to which she can then redeem herself and turn babyface. I don't know if that's where they're going with this, but if it is, I guess the good first step is losing to Asuka, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Do you have Asuka come back and lose, though?
Well, that's the thing. I don't see Asuka losing, but I don't see Becky turning face either. You know what I mean?
You think? I mean, not in the short term. No, I agree with you there. But I think, isn't there? I just feel like there's a lot of money and a lot of interest in a babyface Becky Lynch, and I know she's doing good work or whatever as a heel, but like, we were there live. She main evented a fucking WrestleMania and won the title, and it was like the biggest deal in the world. And then she came back and immediately turned heel on Bianca and felt like so much less of a big deal. And even like this WrestleMania match was great, but the storyline was Bianca. It wasn't Becky. It was Bianca's WrestleMania moment. So like, I feel like there's just money left on the table. And this is the exact same feeling that Becky had, that Stone Cold Steve Austin had when he turned heel and joined the Alliance. He was sick of being the babyface. He played it for a while, yada yada. He thought it was played out. Wanted to do something different. Becky wants to do something similar. She was facing the same kind of creative funk and wanted to turn heel. But I don't know, dude. I don't know if the solution is always just, hey, I'm gonna turn heel. Like maybe there's some more nuance to it. But I'll open the floor up on that one.
No, I kind of agree with what you're saying. I really do. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see which direction they go with it. You know what I mean? I think it's just too early to tell because it just happened.
Right.
But, I don't know. I mean, Asuka's pop was solid. People were excited to see her. The internet was going fucking crazy.
Yeah, because I don't understand why WWE doesn't understand how big of a deal Asuka is.
Yeah, I don't understand that either, quite honestly.
They brought her over because she had a reputation in Japan. She never really worked. She might have worked some stuff in the United States, but I mean, her career for the most part was over in Japan, 90% of it, and was brought over to NXT based on that reputation and those matches, and then just continued to have really good matches and compelling segments and all that through her WWE career, and was able to do some different stuff with it. She had the tag team with Kyrie and the whole deal. It was like she changed. She was babyface. She was heel. She was cutting promos in Japanese, which nobody understood, but because she was delivering them with such passion, people bought into them. You understood. You might not have understood the words, but you understood what she was, the feeling behind what she was saying.
Yeah, it's like you said. It's how she delivers it, man. You don't have to understand what she's saying exactly. The way she's just, doing it, the mannerisms, the reaction, all of it, that just goes towards it, and then that's how it is. You got to deliver it. So I'm just like you, man. I'm all for Asuka, and can't wait to see what happens here.
Definitely, and it'll be weird. It'll be weird if Asuka comes back and then all of a sudden Alexa doesn't, because now they were kind of using this. Alexa was getting married thing as their excuse for not booking her. But now the reports are coming out, like Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful kind of reported that there were no plans for her even prior to the wedding being announced or being planned, and it was just a lack of them having anything for her to do, which just really seems silly to me. But I don't know what to do. The Alexa
Somebody light a fire
as well, because Alexa's been off. Aside from that appearance, that like one-off Elimination Chamber appearance with a couple Raws kind of smattered in, I guess. We had a whole thing. They built a whole world, and I know Bray's gone, but they built this whole world, and they were able to turn it from the fun house into the playhouse. And they had all these characters. They had the doll, and they had all the stuff, and the spooky shit.
I still can't believe they fucked that up. I really still cannot believe they fucked that up.
And now all of a sudden it's gone.
Mind blowing.
I can believe they fucked it up because here we are. But it boggles my mind that they continue to like, all right, we cured Alexa, but she still has to kind of carry the doll for some reason, and it's not the original doll, but it's still kind of the original doll. And then it's like, then she's off TV again, and nobody gives it. Like, how can you give a shit about the doll when if she's not on TV? We don't know if she has the doll or not. So, what are we doing?
And didn't she end up with like a WrestleMania win over fucking Randy Orton of all people? Did that happen?
It was not a WrestleMania win. It was a different pay-per-view because
okay.
Bray was the one. Bray lost at the Fiend lost at WrestleMania to Randy Orton in the opening match, and that was like the last Fiend match. That was when Alexa came out in giant box, and then she had black goo. Hey, the goo! Oh, she got hit with the goo. It was the weirdest thing. Nobody has any thoughts on Alexa getting gooed. Oh, that's a bad phrase.
I'll keep that to myself.
But yeah, she had a pay-per-view win.
The wives are listening.
That's why you stay single, guys. No, there was, I think it was the pay-per-view before WrestleMania, maybe. It was one of those. I was gonna say closed casket. It was empty arena. Because of COVID.
Close casket.
God damn, that's too close to reality. But it was an empty arena pay-per-view, like cinematic thing, and it wasn't the Inferno match. That was silly, but it was kind of cool. The Alexa one was literally like, was there like somebody got hit with a forearm? It was barely any wrestling, and then there was like a puff of smoke or a cut to black or something, and
yeah, but like
the ring and did
my
something.
point is though, they were pushing her really hard, and then they just fucking dropped it.
Yeah, I mean, she was. The idea that they kind of set up was somehow her and the Fiend were linked together, and they were going to be like not necessarily power couple in the sense that they were dating or married or anything, but the new power couple of like they were the strongest wrestlers on the roster who like Alexa, a little, kind of a slight person, height and weight wise, was able to like no sell finishing moves and stuff like that by getting the Fiend powers. So yeah, like there was a lot of shit that they left on the table with both of them to resolve whatever it was. How do you solve a problem like
Alexa?
Yeah, how do you solve a problem like Marie?
Oh man. Oh, so I had a question I wanted to pose to Eddie mainly, but everyone really. And Vince, I had brought this up after the show last week. So the question is, can Roman Reigns get the acknowledge me over as a babyface?
Like
yes.
So
it's already starting.
It's over. Yeah, I'm about to say
right?
that too. It's kind of over.
But I'm saying, like, can he like just say acknowledge me and get cheers?
It's like Steve said, it's happening. Like
it's starting
for the most part.
Yeah.
But if he, I don't know, man. I think he still has to have that whole smug attitude. He has to have that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Everything has to stay the same. I personally don't want him to at all turn face at all. But again, like Roman is doing his best work ever. He's just killing it the way he's doing it, man. And I don't know, man. I don't want him face. I don't know what you guys think.
Don't get me wrong, because I'm not saying for the short term whatsoever, but I feel like he can go in the way of The Rock, where The Rock kept everything but was a baby face, but kept his attitude and swagger and everything. Like that's what a lot of these guys can do. So, and Roman Reigns, like right now, arguably, not even arguably, undisputedly, is doing his best work ever.
Yeah.
Oh no,
for sure.
1000% agreed. You ain't gonna get an argument from me. But nah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you could open it up to the forum. Vince, you're sometimes very critical on Roman.
When you acknowledge me as kind of, it's definitely a heel thing to say, but that wouldn't be the first heel phrase to get over as a babyface thing. Austin 316 says, "I just whooped your ass." Not a very nice thing to say to who was at the time a recovering alcoholic, born again Christian, and became one of the most popular in a positive babyface sense of like he was known to then say, Stone Cold 316 says, "I just whooped your ass" to everybody, to any opponent, and got cheered for it. So
yeah, because Austin, that's a good point. Because someone like Austin didn't change shit when he became babyface. He'd stun whoever still, and
Yeah,
right.
The difference
Roman
between
Reigns had a problem.
Austin was he had the greatest heel to ever work with in Vince
Right.
McMahon.
That is true.
So you didn't have to turn Austin baby face. It just happened organically because of the boss being the boss. So anti-authority. Everything just worked in Austin's favor.
And for as good as Roman is, we need to give credit to Paul Heyman, definitely too.
Of course.
Paul Heyman has been keeping this whole company stitched together with like chewing gum the last decade, because without Paul Heyman, at least a decade, maybe more, without Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar, not now, but back in the day, without Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar was bad. You know what I mean? He needed a promo guy. Now he's kind of developed into this new thing, which is amazing. I wish he developed into it 10 years earlier, but here we are. But Heyman kept together the Brock Lesnar thing for a long ass time, and then when they saw it was right, they flipped it over to him and Roman Reigns. And I was skeptical at first about just taking the big piece of Brock Lesnar that worked and just go, okay, well, this worked here. We're just gonna pop it over here. But it's the same thing as Bobby Heenan taking on another client. Bobby Heenan was what got people over, and he got some dire fucking dog shit, bad talent over. You know what I mean? Him and Andre got over the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, what the fuck? They get all the credit in the world. So
you stick with me, you're going places.
And
they never hear from you again.
Paul Heyman just kind of took that. It's an old school attitude. This old school shit works. There's a reason they sold so many goddamn tickets back in the day, and there was a territory in every Northeast, Southeast, Midwest, West Coast. There was territories out there that guys could work in and make a living in, and then just go to the next territory and make money because this old school shit worked. You had a heel manager like that in every territory, whether it was Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. You could have Bobby Heenan. You could have Gary Hart. You could have Arnold Scalin. Well, he was kind of a babyface at the time, but like Grand Wizard was the same kind of thing. It didn't matter. There was a guy that you could count on to take a talent that you needed to get turned heel and bring them that way. And Paul Heyman is that guy in the modern age. So it was the right call, and just it worked out way better than I think maybe even they thought. Like I think they thought it would work, but I don't think they would. I don't think anybody would have foresaw that it would work this well.
Yeah, 1000% agreed, man. The only thing I would like say is what you said earlier, was taking basically Heyman and going from what he was doing with Brock and just like almost doing the exact same in Roman. The difference is obviously Roman is obviously not relying too much on Heyman on that mic.
Right.
And you have Roman actually cutting, I would say about 60% of his own promo. Then you'll have the special counsel do his part and do everything that's going on. It's like I said, I mean, like, but everything does work. I mean, like you said, I mean that's exactly what it is, and it's perfect. So
It's also like someone like you. I bring up like someone like Kurt Angle, who like they would have the "you suck" chant eventually became like a term of endearment for him.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can definitely, I think, acknowledge me could work in any context. And then if he ever went back heel, he could just keep using it, or maybe he goes on to something else. I think for Roman Reigns, the most important thing that he did, and we talked about it for years, and we weren't the only ones. There were hundreds, if not thousands, of wrestling podcasts going on from the time the Shield broke up until the point where Roman officially kind of took this turn to the tribal chief. He relied too much on the Shield music, too much on the Shield vest, the coming through the crowd.
Yep.
The whole shtick was all old, and it was like, you remember when John Cena's stuff got old? John Cena's stuff stayed fresh longer than Roman Reigns' did for some reason. But when Cena got old, they kind of didn't realize it for a couple years. And it was like he was stuck in this kind of middle ground of like releasing a new neon colored t-shirt every 4 months or whatever.
And that right there is the biggest difference. You had the neon t-shirt, you had the color, the Fruity
Right,
Pebbles, right? The Rock Home,
Yes,
Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity
Like
Pebbles.
you had all of that, right? So it was easy for you to like market Cena and have these young kids buy in to get everything. He was marketing genius, all that. The wristbands, the headbands, the t-shirts, all of that. Roman just had what? The vest and the glove. And I don't know if a 10-year-old's like, oh, I might need that glove or that vest. But
well, the problem they had, and this was, I understand the intention.
Yep.
This is, like a shotgun. I get it.
Yep.
But some people take this in a different context and will use it as, to mock Roman Reigns, let's say. Yep. I saw a video once, and it was a repeat of him on loop, and it was.
And you see Vince McMahon in the background with that face.
It was like two.
The Stacy Keibler thing.
The face of Stacy Keibler. Remember that? Yeah, that was the best one. Yep. It's my favorite meme. If I can find that, I love it. I love
Vince falls off his chair.
I gotta find that and send it in the chat later.
It cuts back and forth because that was like the Stacy Keibler dance or something like that they were cutting Vince's reactions in. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's the best. Oh, shout out to 2003 Stacy Keibler, by the way. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I remember having that poster in my room.
I think we all had that poster.
I have a signature, and my uncle once met her and David Flair at an airport, and he got their autographs, but she signed it Miss Hancock.
Oh yeah, because she was Miss Hancock in WCW. She should come back and manage Roman Reigns.
Stop.
Yeah, and then have Paul Heyman do that instead of Vince McMahon.
Oh, Paul Heyman would sell that. The way he looks at Roman now is insane. That's oh man.
And as a Jew, I just love when every once in a while Paul Heyman will go Shabbat Shalom.
He throws in Yiddish
He's
words.
so funny.
Like, I'm surprised he hasn't said like Roman Reigns is a real mensch.
I feel like he must have said that. I feel like he said somebody was a mensch once on like Talking Smack or something.
I also did like when Paul when they were kind of like they almost did the Brock versus Jinder thing before Jinder dropped the belt to AJ.
Oh, thank God. Yeah.
And he did that promo, and Heyman did that promo, the Mahar,
yeah.
He was trying to say Maharishi, but oh my God, it was hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, he's great. The one thing we really didn't touch on, because we mostly kept it to Raw, SmackDown talk, was AEW announced a partnership with New Japan Pro Wrestling. We're having a Forbidden Door pay-per-view. It will be AEW talent versus New Japan talent, likely in a lot of multi-man matches. That way, you get a lot of people on the card, and nobody really has to do a clean one-on-one job. But I
Will we
expect
see like Okada or something?
the speculation is that Okada is on the show. They haven't announced it yet because New Japan, it might be this weekend. It's coming up soon. New Japan is going to have a match between Naito and Okada for their world title. And then I think they'll announce that whoever comes out of that match being the champion is going to be on the show. I wouldn't be surprised if both those guys would be on the show, honestly.
Yeah, question is, is Omega ready to come back, you think, for that pay-per-view? Because you probably would need him, right?
I 100% think you do need him. And Will Ospreay asked on Twitter, like today or yesterday, like directly asked that question. Kenny, are you going to be ready for June? Kenny didn't answer. It might be a surprise thing. It might. I feel like they wouldn't announce this pay-per-view without Kenny being ready to go, because Kenny Omega represents the bridging of the gap between New Japan
1000%
For sure.
Yep.
and AEW, between I know he's Canadian, but between North America and Japan, he's like, that's the guy. The whole reason this came together, I mean, there were a lot of things, but Kenny Omega's success in Japan, and then having that success being noticed by people in the U.S. and on YouTube, and finding the streaming shows and streaming the Japanese pay-per-views, even though they were, at one point they were only in Japanese commentary. They finally did American. But like Kenny Omega's success really, and obviously the Bullet Club and all that, but like Kenny was the guy that, like, he's if he wasn't there, it wouldn't have worked.
Well, I think to a slightly lesser extent, also the Young Bucks.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I say, though, there's a lot of things that could have gone, that needed to happen. The Young Bucks being involved with the Bullet Club. The Bullet Club itself really was kind of the genesis of all this, because look at the success that came up. The original Bullet Club was Devitt, Fale, and Gallows. Those were the first guys. And then they brought in Machine Gun. And then, they bring in, at one point they needed a new leader. So then, AJ was the leader, and then Kenny was, and they were bringing, and just to think of the names of the talent that came out of the Bullet Club. Obviously the Good Brothers, obviously Finn Balor, AJ Styles was in the Bullet Club, Kenny Omega, Cody was in there, the Bucks were in there. Jay White is still leading the group. Like, it's just, it ended up being a spawning point for a lot of guys to kind of succeed and get noticed in America, because it became the new NWO. Oh, these are American guys. They speak English, but they're wrestling in Japan, and they've got the cool shirt and the cool theme, and there was a lot of stuff that worked about the Bullet Club when it first came out that kind of got people interested. But it was really that they were Americans or English-speaking people doing well and having success in Japanese wrestling.
Who is in Bullet Club right now, currently? Like, is it still a thing?
It is. They recently they kicked out some members recently. I know Jay White is the leader. I know that Chris Bay is in the Impact Wrestling branch. I don't think the Good Brothers are in it right now. Let's see if there's a list of current members. Former.
What about any of, like, the Tongan guys? And
Yeah, so the Tongans are still involved. So let's see. We got Fale, who's still in there. Dick Togo, Evil. They're part of the House of Torture, which is like a subgroup of the Bullet Club. Phantasmo, Guido, and Jado, and Kenta. Oh yeah, Kenta is in there. Chris Bay, Doc Gallows, Hikuleo, Carl Anderson. Hikuleo's a big dude. He's an Impact now too. So it's still around. It's just not. It kind of went into a down period, and now I think this is like, especially leading up to the show, I think the Bullet Club is going to end up having not a I don't want to say a complete resurgence, but like they're going to try and heat it back up because Jay White came out on Dynamite on Wednesday and specifically said that the Elite and the Bullet Club are going to be together as a unit. So it seems like we might have a Elite in the Bullet Club versus New Japan people, Elite in the Bullet Club versus AEW, or maybe a mix of like AEW and New Japan talent coming together against the Bucks and Jay White and whoever else they bring into, and Cole and Fish and those guys.
Yeah, and don't forget Ring of Honor.
And Ring of Honor. It's this is.
Yes, it sounds like it's going to be a tremendous 4.5 hour show.
I know, right? It's like this is going to be great. It's going to start on Sunday and end on Tuesday.
All right, let's all do a watch along. Let's go. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll watch the whole fucking thing.
Yet it'll still feel less tedious than WrestleMania.
That won't take much.
Was anybody in? Did anybody go to New Orleans the last time they were there? Where Ronda Rousey was like Ronda's first match?
No.
All right, so
no.
I haven't been to a Mania since WrestleMania 24 with Steve.
So
Wow.
Nice.
My first and only.
On TV, did they keep playing the "Hi, Paige here" commercial? Okay. It happened in the arena, and every time it played, people, like the first time we watched it, the second time, okay, they had to play it again. By like the 8th time, there was an audible groan from 80,000 people. "Hi, Paige here." Oh, this fucking thing again. So yeah, that's why WrestleMania can become a drag.
All right. Well, we are at top of the hour, boys.
Well, thank you guys for sticking through some technical difficulties. I know I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to restart my computer and hope that next week things turn out better. And I think Steve's going to do the same. And holy shit, what a week! So thank you like I said, for sticking with us through these technical difficulties. And we'll be back next week talking all wrestling news, whether it's AEW, whether it's WWE, whether it's another edition of Cody Watch. Maybe he took a shit and we had to report on it or something because people are so up his ass. I don't know. We'll see whatever's going on in the wrestling world. We'll talk about it, and we'll be back next week, 6 p.m. on Eastern Time. It's on every Tuesday, whether you like it or not. We are live Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you're in a different time zone, you can just adjust as you need to. If you would just don't want to take any thought into it and just want to have it pop up on your phone, the easiest way to do that is follow us on social media. It's at TagMeADate with no spaces. It's all one word, at TagMeADate. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter and Periscope. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. YouTube.com. You just type in TagMeADate in the search bar. You can hit subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to follow us on Twitch when we live stream, we broadcast all across the internet. We broadcast on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter and Periscope Live, and Twitch. But Twitch is twitch.tv/War Report. It's a different URL or different username. So twitch.tv/War Report. Everything else is at TagMeADate with no spaces. And if you prefer to listen to the audio version rather than watch a live stream, you can subscribe to us on your podcast app of choice, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify. All you got to do is search for either Tag Me a Date or The War Report. You'll see it come up. If you search for just The War Report, there are 2 War Report wrestling podcasts. The icon or the graphic that you see when you click on it should say Tag Me a Date right there on the graphic. So you'll know it's us. Hit subscribe, and you'll get the audio version of the podcast. We go off the air about 7 p.m. Eastern Time. By about 8 p.m. Eastern Time, you will have the audio version delivered for free right to your phone or whatever device you have your podcast app set on. So give us a subscribe, give us a follow on social media, and if you have any friends that are looking for a new pro wrestling podcast to listen to, or you've got friends that are wrestling fans and you think they'd enjoy our show, please spread the love and share our stuff and let your fellow wrestling fans know there is a podcast out there that you enjoy. And I'd like to just thank you guys for tuning in this week. We will see you next time for another edition of the War Report. Have a nice week, everybody.